Welcome to the one and only Mile High Podcast. Dr. Daniel Knowles, your host. I'm excited to be here with you. And if you're listening, then I know you're excited to be here. And we encourage you to hit the subscribe button, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to it on iTunes or Stitcher or any of the channels. And make sure you hit subscribe so you join us every week and you never miss any Mile High Tick. And of course, that you get dialed in to rise up in September 23rd weekend to higher ground with us. And today I am super excited to have this guest, bring this guest to you and for you to participate and learn from him because anytime you spend with Dave Major is a good time. He is an internationally accomplished author, speaker, and motivator. Over the past 24 years, he's been on Discovery Channel, presented to congressmen, wrote Health as a Journey, given thousands of lectures, has made several positive contributions to educational material, and he has worked for us at least a decade on different events that he's come out here for. He was a skeptic of chiropractic and he's a believer now. And I will tell you, when you listen to him, he's going to make you even a more believer of yourself and how you can impact the world around you and how much people need you. Thank you for joining us today, Dave Major.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, I'm like, where's this guy he's talking about? And I guess I gotta update my bio. It's one of those things I'm not concerned about. Some people that that have the ego, I've introduced and been MC, it's like 10 pages long. I'm like, my gosh. But I'm actually going on my 35th year in the profession.
Oh wow! So you're not as young as I thought.
Well, no, Sunday, and I think one time I was out because they had it early, the show for you or whatever. It was my birthday, but Sunday I'll be 67. My grandson said, "You're 3 years from 70, Papa." I said, "I don't feel like it." So
Good. Well, that chiropractic is an anti-aging machine. You
we
know,
say about power, it gives life to the body and years to the body and life to the years, whatever.
life to
But
years and years to life. That's right.
I don't dye my hair. If I grew a beard, it'd be all gray. But for some reason, I'm very blessed. I have no gray hair, and I have hair. That's a good thing too.
I gotta say, as I'm saying your name, I almost feel like it's like a kind of name that you can say as a sports announcer, like Dave Major.
Well, you know what? There, I was going to be an announcer one time. Like, no, but yeah, yeah, it is a good name. They call me Magger sometimes because it's Mager, not Major. But in Quebec, when I spoke for the Brown Baggers, I was very blessed. Brown Baggers, I don't know if you know about them. They
Parker.
are a group that Parker went to Parker, but they couldn't get to Parker, so they got their brown bag lunch and they had their own Parker up there. Well, out of the 50 years this group's been going, myself and tremendous Charlie Jones were the only two non-DCs ever to speak at their program, and I spoke twice, which no one, a non-DC's never spoken more than once, so I spoke twice up there. But anyways, my grandpa, which I never met, was from Canada, and this is a lot cooler or sexier. It's like Major. Oh, you're Canadian. I go, no, I'm not. I found out I'm part Canadian. It's David Major. I go, oh, that's better than Major. Major.
I like that. I like that. That's a little fancier. It's kind of like
Yes, definitely.
the Grey Poupon, right?
Yes, yes. Instead of mustard, where's the mustard? Where's the Grey Poupon?
So you're known as Game Face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dave Major Game Face. We get into that story at some point. However, before the game, you have to do something else. You have to
Mm,
prepare, right? Otherwise,
yes.
game face is not going to be. It doesn't matter what game face you put on. It's not going to be too looking too good if you don't have preparation before you're on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
what can you share about preparation for chiropractors in terms of
Okay.
everything they do?
I would love to. I would love to. When I went out to pump up the Parker crowd one time, I think it was their anniversary, whatever, 100 year, 50 year, whatever. Um, it was before Deepak Chopra, and they're like, "Are you scared? You got to pump them up before Deepak." I go, so they said, "Good luck." I said, time out, time out. There's no such thing as good luck. There's luck. It's where preparation and opportunity meet. I am prepared. I've been up since 5 o'clock, meditating, praying, reading the word and exercising and focusing on that crowd, just like what I did Total Solution for 19 years and 7,000 chiropractors. I'd be up praying over the chairs, being prepared, getting ready. And then when I'm out there, I'm already prepared because the worst thing, I'm sure you've seen speakers or somebody that's not prepared and they're like fumbling around. It makes you feel very uncomfortable. Well, it's a funny story. Side note, I come off the stage and Deepak Chopra's like, "Oh, you got a very good spirit, Dave." I go, "Yo, what's up, Tupac?" He goes, "Tupac." And I go, "Never mind, never mind." I just walked by there. But anyways, so preparation is very important. I remember Dave Jackson coming downstairs when he had his clinic in Idaho, and I'm on the treadmill and I'm crying. And he goes, "Are you okay? Did you hurt yourself?" And I'm a big crier, but it's like, I go, I'm just so excited to be able to help and the people I'm going to serve and educate and get under chiropractic care. Do you realize it's an honor? I said, I still to this day feel small and I stand beside the ocean, like the song says, because I'm just so overwhelmed that I'm blessed to give the message of the power that made the body heals the body. So, when I get up in the morning, when I'm coming to you in July, I get up in the morning, I start thinking about it, it's on my mind, and I'm getting prepared to say, come on. You know what? Here's the thing. We talk a big talk, a lot of us, but we got to walk our talk. So he
Right.
said, "Oh, what we
Very
think
much
about
so.
is what we bring about." Yeah. So what are you thinking about? Well, no, I'm thinking about those people down there in Boulder that's going to come by that I'm going to smile and say hi, and they're just going to think like, I just got to stop. I don't know why. Why? Because I put that out there that, hey, I'm here to love, serve, and give out of abundance. I'm ready. I'm not going to sit there being on my phone or looking around or eating. I'm going to be
Right.
like, hey, I'm out here saving lives. This is what my energy is saying. I love you. I want to serve you. I want to help you. I actually grabbed a lady's hand one day and she's like, come here. She goes to her sons, this man's a healer. And I just looked at what and before I can say, well, I'm not a chiropractor, she goes, no, I don't care what you do, you're a healer. I can feel it. I said, well, I prayed this morning that many people would be healed through the message, and give them hope. Hope is dope. You got to give them hope. But if you're not prepared, like if I walked out when I played at Toledo University and I played against Jack Lambert, Nick Saban, those guys, if I wasn't prepared, like, well, I forget what play am I don't know. I can't remember the plays. And oh, shoot, I didn't bring my girdle. Well, we used to use girdle pads back then in the days. I'd get injured, and you'd get, it's not a physical game, but it's a mental game. We have to
Right.
be mentally
Right.
prepared.
Right.
Not only mentally prepared to know what we're going to do and say, but mentally prepared about, listen, this is, people think, oh, what's the screen? You just say, no, it's a very tough thing to do to stay because you get rejected all day.
Right.
I mean, no thanks, or oh no, I try, whatever. It's like, so, you know what, next, next. It's like, I don't care. I have the right attitude, the right mental attitude, and I have the right energy. But if you don't have the right mental attitude, it drains your energy. So preparation, you all have to do it. I used to own clinics, and one time I let this associate go because I'm like, you're not, he's getting dressed coming in. I go, you're not even physically dressed. You're not mentally dressed. You didn't get
Right.
up and get prepared for the day. And it is
Yeah.
so, the preparation is so key. And we talk about procedures, but if you're not prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, and their present time consciousness, you're not going to do good. You're not going to do good.
Yeah. No, well, that's true. It's true in anything in life. That's a basic life
Yes.
lesson. And people, chiropractors, I'll tell you, there are outstanding chiropractors and chiropractors that are really focused, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
However, I see things where you look at like what we get to do, the gift that we like, the
Oh
privilege
yes.
that we
Sorry.
have to serve people as chiropractors is tremendous.
Come
And I
on.
see
Yeah.
things, and I'm not talking bad about any kind of occupation or profession. I will see people the sky cap at an airport have more hustle and more smile and be more present than a chiropractor?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
know,
Oh, yes.
for example, or
Right.
whatever industry. Where I'm like, man, that person, they would do phenomenal chiropractic practice, right?
Yes.
Well, you know, you have to work on put energy in. You have to put energy into how you present yourself. Um, what are some pre-game tips you tell people to do?
Well, number one, there's no such thing as being on time. To me, is being there early. When you have you got to get up earlier than normal. You got to be there earlier than normal to be prepared. Some people come to the shows or marketing events or screenings like the very last minute. And they're trying to set up, and to me, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I need to be prepared a half hour before, and you're very good at that. We go, you have us meet the staff, we get set up, and we're
Right.
set up, and we're raring to go because you miss one person that can change your life. That's huge. So definitely get up earlier. All right, eat a good breakfast, take a good walk. You got to do some kind of exercise, whether it's a walk or on the treadmill or some calisthenics, whatever. Get the blood juices flowing. Okay, take time to meditate and think about it. I'm a Christian, so I read the Word of God. I pray and just say, please, just multiply and immensely what I'm going to do today. Right now, speak to hearts. So you sit there and you got to have a good half hour of just really meditating, praying, whatever you do to get your mind right. But then physically, eat a good breakfast, be hydrated, um, and two, be presentable. Be prepared the night before. Have your clothes laid out. Know what you're going to do. I know this sounds silly, but it's not. Because you get up in the morning like, oh shoot, that shirt needs iron. It'll just throw you back. So the key is prepare the night before, have everything ready, so when you get up, there's no stress, in your life, and then take care of you physically, mentally, spiritually, your body, and so I think those are the basic tips. But also, I write stuff down. There's power in writing a goal down for the day, like I want to get, and you're very good at that. I always know that Danny's girls know, or staff, sorry, didn't mean that. Got to be politically correct. They know what we're shooting for because we have to have a goal. I mean, it'd be like me on a football field or a basketball court with no goal or goal post or no basket. So you gotta have a goal. And I'm telling you what, it definitely always and that's another thing of a mindset. You have a number in mind, and you have it written down, and you think about it, and you go for it, because it's not just about, you see, the intent when you get up. My intention for getting prepared is that that person deserves it. Just like you said about that person at the airport. They're excited about their job, and they're really wanting to serve and love and give. And that's what I want to do. I just not going there for a paycheck. The first time I did a screening, I walked down there. I mean, you've heard the story before, but I was so excited to do a small screen in 1981, and I'm looking at all these people, and it's that reticular activated part of the brain. Like, wow, I'm seeing everybody now. That, oh, look at their head tilt. Look at this. I'm made aware of it. Like when you get a different car, and all of a sudden it's like everybody's got that same car. But anyways, I get down there, and I didn't go because I'm going, hey, I'm going to make some money today, or I'm going to get bonus. I went down there because, hey, guess what? I'm going to change someone's life today by telling them, hey, check it out. You have nothing to lose but your problem. So my intention was, it was pure, honest. It wasn't, you and I know, and even if you're not the sharpest tool in the shed, you can feel when someone really doesn't care about you. They just care about the sale, not the person.
Yep.
And I care about the person. You know,
Oh yeah,
I, I
people can tell it. People can feel it. And you're hitting something that's a very important principle that I say so much. I think the people listening know that I also do lifetime wellness practice, have an inner circle membership. This is a principle I say over and over again: giving, giving, and I know you echo this too. If you show up in your office, at a results review, at an initial visit, at a screening, at a talk, a class, with the intention to get something, man, I'm psyched to go there and get all these new patients. It does not work. Whatever it
mhm.
is, you have to have all give, give, give in the front of your being. And if you have
Yes,
anything less than that, people will, your effectiveness just drops down.
Yes. Yes. No, you're exactly right. They can sense that and they know it. So given it shall be given unto you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open. So we got to put ourselves out there with the right intent and it comes back tenfold. But you're exactly right. When people do a healthcare talk, they're like, well, how can, what do you do? Can you get new patients? I said, that's the last thing. It's not going to be some kind of sales show. It's going to be educate that one person that's there, even if they don't have a guest, make their scope of chiropractic go from this to like, wow, everybody that has a spine needs chiropractic care. And then if there are somebody there, they have the opportunity at the very end, to come in and get checked. But again, I I just I just can't believe it, and it hurts my heart. And you'll get more doing what the principles you and I are talking about right now than if you were just to go out and get new patients. The
Yep.
best kind of doctor, and it's like Dr. Dan, I'll tell you this person because I know him. Even if I mean, God forbid something happens and we got only one or two patients, he'll say, "Well, that's one or two patients I didn't have." Yes,
Right.
we want to do well because we want to, not because we want to score big and make a lot of money, because we want to help a lot of people. You got the
Right.
It's a big, huge difference. Okay, but when
Absolutely.
someone goes, "Hey, if I just get the message out there today and we get a handful, that's fine." But and that's the right attitude. But yet, that doesn't mean you just go, "Oh, I'm going to go out and get one or two patients signed up." We want to get as many as we can to come in and find out if we can change their lives. And
Right.
so that's a huge concept that hopefully everyone gets.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, and people mess that up all the time. I hear it all the time. Like, you know, "Oh, I did this thing and I only got two new people from it, so I failed." You know, how many new people do you need from anything you do to actually make it pay for itself? There's very few things that you actually need more than one or two or three people. And you know that there's going to be, give it that, like, that person, when you really get a quality person in the door, they'll refer people. Like, it's a dividend that pays off. And people, don't come from that abundant place. And I remember I learned from, I think I was just a graduate, and it was at a presentation you did. It was a total solution. And about how a person's life changed from you being at an event, and like, man, if I had chose not to show up that day, that person would have still been on whatever it was that they were still on. And like,
Yes.
that's the space you have to carry when you do things.
Right, right. I remember Pat saying to Temple that in Seattle, if some doctor would have stepped up to the plate and had Dave Major out at the mall or if, an event, and he would have met Kurt Cobain's mom from Nirvana, who was on Ritalin as a kid and learned about chiropractic. He wouldn't have killed himself. He was a creative kid and all that. So and I'll tell you a really good story. I have so many, but Tony Ebo one time put on a soccer tournament. There was four fields. We were right in the middle, and all the signups. We were doing screenings. And honestly, I think I might be overshooting it, but I think we only signed up in 2 days 5 people. And I don't know how many came in, but just because we talked to so many and put that energy out there, guess what? He flipped out. He called me. I can't believe it. And again, he didn't do this for the money, but just to show you that don't look at what you get. He increased $35,000 in services the next month. He said, "I don't know what happened." I said, "We put ourselves out there, and guess what? We attracted a lot of people, and because people come up like, 'Where's my grandson playing? Where's team?' Whatever. They're over on that. Okay, good. Now I'll come back later. It was just too busy." But again, you put it out there because when I did screenings for years, I used to. My buddy, when I got into chiropractic care, he had 4 clinics. We opened 8 more. We had 12 clinics, and I finally showed him, and he says, "Yeah, you're right. You'd show stats like, okay, we had 8 people come in for the screening, but we had 14 or 15 new patients above what we normally had." I said, just by being out there, that extra, I wasn't want to take credit for it, but I'm like, we put it out there and they came back. And you've done so many, and I have that. We see 6 months later. You know what? I saw
Right.
you. I saw that guy at the Boulder Creek last year, and now I've decided to come in.
Right. Now let's talk about something a little bit more deeper, a little deeper. Let's just say
Okay.
something a little bit deeper. Right now, 2021, we know what's gone on in the planet, 2020 and 2021, and there's doctors like chiropractors are not immune to the stresses relative to COVID,
Right.
right?
Right.
We may be on a higher level of adaptability and may have a little less, but you can see how it's impacted lives and the
Mm-hmm.
planet and our community, the mental stress things that have come out now, right? And we're not going to be immune to that as a profession. We're engaged, it's affecting all of us as well, right? And many chiropractors have shined through it and they've done really well in their office. And there's many that are struggling. They've had a hard time either in their personal lives, in their practices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe their practice is down. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they had some relationship stuff because some of the stresses have brought out relationship things in their lives and their surfaces or their kids or all kinds of things, right? So with what you see and talking to doctors all the time, what are some recommendations that you would give to people to uh I don't want to say is to get on the other side of this and thrive?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good point. As you can see, what's behind me, because of COVID, I was shifted to doing more coaching, and which I never liked because it never really. It was kind of like the jacuzzi experience. People feel good for a little bit. I want a transformation, lasting, memorable transformation. So
Right?
I think the four keys, and Doc gave me a good one, a good C, so I might have to be changing it, but C4, if you do the research, would probably don't because you might get a call from the government. It was an explosive in World War II that it would detonate something that was dormant. Okay, so it's something they didn't know. They wanted to explode it, so because they didn't want it to hurt anybody. So people they're dormant in their thoughts, philosophy, and this really when the COVID came, it really suppressed a lot, and it kind of caused it, it's called the squeeze play. You don't know what's in a sponge till you squeeze it. You don't know a person until you squeeze them. So we've been squeezed a lot through this COVID, and it really shows where your philosophy is and stuff. So, and here's the thing when you're alone and you're not having anybody to mentor you, you can just start going out of control and way off path. So, you know, I, so basically, we number one is that you need right now clarity. It's like, okay, I don't know my purpose. Everybody's like confused. Confusion is the enemy of execution. If you don't have clarity and you have all you're confused, you're not executing. It's almost the analysis of paralysis. So you need clarity. What is your purpose? And that's one thing I stated on the stuff you gave me. My one of my favorite sayings to this day is where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Right. I was
You
just
might
going to
know
talk
your
about that. I
purpose.
love that.
Yeah, yeah, my son came home from a Bible study. Pastor Miles Monroe. He said, "Dad, you're gonna love this. It's probably the best thing you ever heard." So physically, if you don't have a purpose and not getting adjusted, eating well, you'll have an unhealthy body. Mentally, if you don't have a purpose, like you're doing good affirmations and thoughts, and you'll have stinking thinking. And spiritually, if you don't have any purpose, again, I'm not a religious guy. I don't believe in religion. I believe in the relationship. And so it's like so if you don't, you won't have integrity, ethics. So again, you need clarity, you need purpose. What is my purpose? I always say, hey, I empower lives to impact life. I mean, that got me a job at speaking at Phillips Magnabox, their yearly meeting with the vice president. He come up and hug me. He goes, man, he says, that chiropractic profession is really grateful to have you there because guess what? We need to have purpose. And so clarity is number one. Second, when you have clarity, now I have certainty. I'm laser focused. I'm like, boy, oh boy. When I talk, I'm like, listen, Danny, you got to check it out because I'm telling you, Dr. Danny knows, and that staff, they really care about you, and they're not, they're not hearing my words as much as they're seeing in my face the certainty that I know you'd be
Right.
better off getting it checked out than taking those drugs and doing whatever.
Right.
And it's one of those things where it's like, wow, yeah, I'm buying. They're buying the messenger. What's the old saying? 7% of the words you take, they hear 38% the tonality, but 55% is the physiology. And people like Pat gave me the best compliment because I'm kind of like squirrel. I'm all over the place. He goes, Dave Major sometimes doesn't finish. Sorry, I just took a bath real quick before I saw it because I was working out. But and he goes, he might not finish a sentence, but every time he stops and switches to another one, he's like, I believe it 100%. And so that certainty is like, man, that guy really owns what he says, and that comes with certainty. Next, then, what you have to do is you got to be consistent, with accountability. Everybody's like saying, I'm up and down. When you are a sole proprietor of a business, guess what? Something like this happens, and you get all this attack, like, oh no, what's going to happen? Then, so what happens is you try this, you go, I don't really need to do that. So consistency has to come in of doing what you need to do every day. And that only happens with accountability. So I make people accountable every day. They Marco Polo me. We do scripture reading. We get focused. So they don't go way off bat. They get back on, just like the pilot. The pilot, he just keeps going. I'm off a little. Let's get back on track. But the bottom foundation there is commitment. You got to be commitment. If you have your cause and your purpose and you're certain about it and you're consistent, then be committed all in. But Doc, a lot of people are not committed. They're half committed. And I said, just like you tell a patient, oh, I'm committed to 10. Danny, if you're committed to 5, this ain't going to work. Well, come on. If you're committed to the greatest profession, and you said it, my gosh, I would love it. I should have been a chiropractor, but I remember Irene Gold at your Mile High after I got done speaking come up and hug me. And she said, you know what? My husband Reggie was right when he told you, I'm glad you were not a chiropractor because chiropractors got to see you, a non-DC or a HDC, Pat and Chris gave me, Chris Kent, honorary doctor of chiropractic. And it's like, you're doing more for the profession. But I am committed. People, I left the job after my first screening. I saw the hope in people's eyes, like, I could be helped. Now, that's back in the early 80s where most people said, get out of here, chiropractic. Now people are going, I go to a chiropractor, you know what? I've been thinking of going to a chiropractor. Very little do you hear anybody like, because they know the power and they've seen the power of chiropractic in the people around them, and it's the best time to be out there. And I just want to tell people, listen, Dr. Danny knows and Rochelle are amazingly successful because of all these things we're talking about, the foundation that they have. And so why does he need me to come out? Because guess what? The best doctors hire the best to come out to work, and they know the value of getting out the community. But they're in a position now where they got a big practice, and to spend the whole weekend out there, they would love to do it. They're really good at it, but then they're exhausted and got to serve the people in the clinic, plus have a high volume. It's just crazy. So they got
Right.
great associates that I'll be working with. But
Right.
so, anyways, those are the four things that they have to do to get their mind, because success is a consciousness. It's a consciousness, and our consciousness. Turn the TV off. Turn all the negativity off. Okay, and that's going to really help a lot.
I had to ask you something. I got a couple things I want to ask you, but I want to
Sure.
ask you something first, which is I heard some of the things you were just saying. How many people do you think conservatively you might have reached over these years?
Um, I I don't know. I don't keep track. I'm not like go look at a trophy on the wall. The exponential growth. I mean, I remember Reggie telling me that you probably have got more people into chiropractic care than anybody, and it's no magic. I love what I do. I got excited. I saw the big idea, my first screening, and I just called home. Monica's like, I'm gonna be a spinal screener. She goes, what? I go, I just love it. I feel called to do it. I'm gonna do it. And I honestly I don't know. When I think I try to figure it out. I don't know, and I just kind of average what I get in screening and how many days, and it was like, I don't even want to say 10,000 plus or so. I don't know. I don't know, and it doesn't matter because
I,
then I don't
so
know.
here's the thing. I asked you that intentionally
Okay.
because I know you don't keep score. I know you think you have a tally that you're going to be you're not the person that says, hey, our people hit this numbers and this record and we're so great because of it. I know you're not that guy, right? And there's enough of that in chiropractic.
Yeah.
I asked you because I want you and everybody else to know that most likely, whatever number you think it is, it's probably 10x that. Because realize if it's 10,000, say that type hypothetically, right?
Mm-hmm.
You never know how far reaching something you say, do, or think today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. And that person, like, they probably referred 5 people over 5 years into a practice. It's
Yeah.
exponential. And
Yeah.
that's the part that people miss in marketing. They get so
Yes.
concerned about the number of people they get that they don't realize it's the gift that keeps on giving. I'll give you
Yes.
an example. Like, it's not something we do anymore. We did it a long time ago, and maybe I should be like embarrassed that this is something that we did, but we did a lot of telemarketing. I don't know, that's embarrassing, but people say maybe that's a little too salesy. I don't know, whatever. But like, we did a lot of telemarketing, a lot of people from it. I still had, I was nervous to spend the money, whatever it was, 10, 20,000 a year that we spent. I have people that are still coming to see us like two
Mm-hmm.
decades later. And I'm like, you're still getting dividends on that and that are still referring people, So, like, whatever number you think it is, Dave, it's smaller than you think it is. It's a lot
Thank you.
more. I mean, it's a lot more than you think it is. The number you think is
Wow.
smaller than it really is by exponentially. You've given
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
to people.
You're exactly right. I'll tell you two quick stories. Number one, a gentleman I called and he's gonna. I said, hey, tell Dr. Chris pick me up at this time, and so we got off the phone. Make a long story short, he had opened a practice 5 years before that. I went out. He hired me before he even opened his doors to go and get places set up. I did screenings 2 weeks before he opened. He saw 165 the first week open.
Mm.
So, but anyways, he goes, Dave, I got to tell you something. Go what? He goes, I know I don't usually do this, but I was adjusted and said they call me Mage, my MAG, my nickname's Mage. So he heard that and he called me Mage, and he goes, is that guy I saw at Harris Teeter grocery store 5 years ago? He goes, yeah. Well, he sat down. We had 10 people come in, start. 5 were still there. 5 years later, get this, all their spouses came in. That's 10. Plus, he said they referred at least 10 people, so 20 people. He did the math. He said 5 years later, I'm still producing about 10 grand a year from that screening
That's what
back
I'm
then.
saying. Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
and chiropractors miss that and they don't want to market, or they'll say I didn't get enough from that, right? I didn't get, like, and that's what people mess up in outreach marketing, whether it be a Facebook ad or a screening or a talk or whatever it is, or an in-house class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you do a
Mm-hmm.
class and get no one, but then you get 5 referrals later in the year because the people understand chiropractic more, right?
Exactly.
You have to be driven
Exactly.
by purpose. And as you said, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. Before I ask you the next question, how do people get plugged into what you're doing now to help?
Well, it's pretty simple. What's nice about it is um, they ask if the group is free, inspire the person, impact the profession. That you, I sent you the link, and they join the group. And when they ask the two questions, what's my personal challenge, my biggest personal challenge, what's my biggest professional challenge, when they respond, Dr. Mike Adolfi, who has 220 retention, he's Chiro Academy. We did marketing back. This is the day. This is funny how old we are. We did wellness marketing. Guess who was our students? Lyle Coca, Dave Jackson, a bunch of these people who are now big time guys. But anyways, you answer those questions. Mike and I review your challenges. We do a video we send to you. We give you suggestions on what we think from what the information we heard. If they want to take it further, they're still, because they're a part of the group, there's no cost. We do a half-hour consultation with a more in-depth of what they've done in the past, what they feel our program could meet. Dr. Mike's kind of like the system guy. I'm the more spiritual, spirited guy. Communication, it's all about the presentation, communication. I still do stuff with like my stress test, my feeling versus function poster. And I work with the staff. Like I'm going to work with your associate doctors on the screening here in a couple of weeks. So we have the perfect setup. Like the yin and the yang. It's kind of like I'm like Patchen Temple and he's Chris Kent, the serious guy. But we complement each other really well, and they check it out. They have nothing to lose, and we want to be there for the profession because we have almost 70 years total of experience in the field, and it's just amazing program. And I'll be honest, not that I didn't think we could do it, but I never knew the impact that I'm seeing. Where people like I'm taking vacations, I'm able to pay my bills. What's going on, but they got to invest in themselves. They
Right.
got to invest in themselves, and I'll tell you what, probably, I it's probably true. Most of it, we're probably the most afford. We make it affordable because we don't need a buttload of money. We give so much away. There's no upselling. We have tapes, audios, so many years of stuff that we have that people can learn, and we keep them accountable. We don't mess around, but we make sure when it's like they're not committed, attend like all in. Like, well, you know what? Wait till you're committed to come back because we want you to be transformed. We want this to be lasting. We want your home to be better. I counsel people who have trouble with their marriages or with their kids, teenage kids, and it's just amazing what's happening because that's why I say personal and professional transformation. If you're not getting hugs and getting tugs, guess what? You can't go turn the power on when your power is shut off personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Now here's the next question.
Sure.
I know my answer to this, and it's probably the same as yours. In the digital world that we live in,
Hmm.
are screenings outdated?
Heck no. 100% no. Uh-uh. Now you see,
I
I'm not.
agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And why do you say that?
Because there's still the human element that is very important for them to make. Most people still want to see somebody, meet them, get a feel for them. I've had people at your fair many times come back like, well, they want, hey, they go, I don't know, I'm going to shop around. I saw some other chiropractors. Go ahead, go. They come back and say, we really like you guys because what we did, we didn't sell them any sizzle. We educated them. No matter if they said we're going to go there, I said, oh, wait, now, you know what? If you don't sign up, I'm not going to let you out of the booth. I said, no, get out of here. I don't care. I said, I know that we are the best around. I'm not saying anybody else is not, but I know for sure you're going to get the top quality. They're going to tell you if they can help you. They'll tell you if they can't. They're not, and they're going to be straightforward. And people love that, and I love Boulder too because I'm a touchy feeling, so I'm hugging people and loving on them and stuff, and that's what it's all about. People want to be acknowledged and appreciated, accepted, and we just have such a loving team there out in Colorado that it's like
Right.
swimming downstream. We're just
Right.
loving and serving. I love
Right.
it. I love
Right.
it.
And I agree. See, here's the thing. I find that we do get people from the internet. We get people from
Oh
Google and
yeah.
we
Oh
get
yeah.
Facebook
Mhm.
for sure. However, I truly find some of the best, and it doesn't mean we don't get good people from the internet, but some of the
Right.
best happen from the human interaction, the connection that people have with you face to face, whether it be in a
Hmm.
talk or a screening. And
Hmm.
we have our teams doing that. We have people come in all the time from screenings that people do, not necessarily big festivals. We have you come out when we do those things, but you train our team so they can do a good job when they have small things, like they had at a gym locally that has lets us go in there once a month and things
Nice.
like that. They get great people from those things that just get stopped and say, I really I could use some help. Tell me about what you do. And that human connection is huge.
Hmm. Oh, it definitely is. So yeah, you're right. We don't want people to think out there that we're disregarding it. It's kind of like the days when we did Advo. They get the flyer in the mail. Well, guess what? Sometimes it was better than others. But sometimes it's that person that's like, you know what? I've seen this the third time, and right now I thought I was living with it. It's okay, but now I really need to call these people. Or they say, "Oh, you're the people who get the Advo from," and then they would meet you, and they would say, "Oh, okay." It just that be that push to push them over the edge. Not push them, but sometimes I say, hey, listen, you can tell I get so excited. I go, listen, don't mistake my pushiness, my passion for pushiness. I'm passionate about what I can do. It'd be like if I say this in a nice way. It's like you got a stick of dynamite in your back pocket, and the fuse is lit, and I see it getting closer to you, and I'm saying, please let me help you. And I'm just. This is for you, not for me.
Right.
You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. So
Right. It's so important. Well,
yeah.
so now I got to say this with you doing this new program. What is there some new opportunity to get plugged in?
Um, no, that's the great thing about it. The offer is definitely from two of the I wish you were there. Would be the three, but two of the best marketing system guys. Associate Doctor G. Gandolfi has the best associate system. He had associate in a clinic of his for 3 years. He didn't even step foot in it. It was about 5 hours away, and he had the systems all in place. When you have the systems in place and the training in place, it's awesome. But if you go there, I tell you what, if you're listening to this podcast and you join my group, just by joining my group and saying, I heard you on Danny Knows podcast, I'll send you a dozen of my books, Health is a Journey, at no cost for
Oh,
you,
that's
along with
awesome.
all, yeah, along with my screening information. I'll give you my screening form and all that.
That's so awesome. Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Well, yeah, do that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, any last words you want to say to inspire chiropractors?
Wow. Any last words? Well, I I'm telling you what, right now, let me tell you, the bubble's bursting. It's starting to, this is, you don't wait till it's really up and running. Right now, you need to be on the phone calling. Um, Dr. Danny just told me about we're doing this thing that's supposed to be in May, in July, but now they said, but every Sunday, we're even going to start doing, and so things are going to start happening. So he who hesitates is lost. So I'm telling you what, if you have any question about marketing, feel free to call me. My information will be there. But I'm telling you, the best information is like start thinking. We're getting back to normal. We're getting out there. Whether they say they're starting to rise or whatever, we're never gonna be back to where we were. So this is a time to move forward and start really focusing, get clarity and certainty back in your corner, and be consistent and be committed to saying, I'm going to not only get back to where I was, I'm going to do better than I did before.
We've been
And
saying that. We've been saying we're not going to come back bitter. We're coming back better.
yeah, yeah, no, not bitter. I like that. Not come back bitter, but better. And that's so true. But that's a mindset too. So you got to start right now, and that's where we can help you, even for our free consultation, give you some direction. Because I'm telling you what, if you need help, you need help. Don't be pretentious. Be real. The real's the deal, man. Say, hey, I need some help and support. Dr. Danny's done that. I mean, we all. I have a mentor. So if you need help, you need help. I mean, come on. And then guess what? It makes you a better person. As you're a better person, you're a better chiropractor. I can't make a better chiropractor without making a better person. That's why Total Solution was so powerful after all those years. People like, hey, I took my kids camping. I forgave my dad. Now my practice is exploding. I got an associate. So again, we miss the personal. We do miss the personal. And to me, chiropractic is like the Bible says about putting wine in an old wineskin. It's just going to leak out. So if you're damaged and you got holes in your heart and your spirit and all this, you got to get right with yourself to get right with others. Okay. So please, feel free. And if you just want to even call, not join my group, call and I'll talk to you. But we're empowering people. I've done this for years. I've talked to, Dell Corporation and to the top executives. And they were just blown away because they said no one brings a personal into the professional. And I go, I've done that for years. Look what Total Solution has done. I got letters and letters
You
of
have
how
to.
that has
You have
inspired
to.
and changed lives.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have to. You have to.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Well, I want to tell you sincerely, I am grateful for all the people lives that you impacted
Thank you.
in chiropractic over 35 years.
Thank
And,
you.
um, Dave, you can sleep well every night, that you have touched more lives than most chiropractors do in their lifetime, for
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you.
And that's a very important thing. And so we need more Dave Majors. Not that there'll ever be another one.
Thank you. No, thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot. In fact, Donnie Epstein, which is your stepdad, bless my heart when he saw me at Total Solution for the first time. I was eating before they broke for lunch because I was out after, and he goes, "Where you practice, doc?" I said, "I'm not a doc. I'm Dave Major," and he just went. He goes, "Oh my, Danny Knowles, you know?" I go, "Oh yeah." He goes, he took everything from Total Solution and he started practice and just started out just flying. And again, that blesses my heart. Not to like, well, yeah, of course you saw me. I'm like, no, I just like my work is being duplicated. It's impacting. Somebody said I went to Cal Jam. I heard this guy Dan Sullivan. Dan Sullivan said he went to some VFW hall in Minnesota, and I remember this. And he heard you speaking, and he walked out and said, "I'm going to be a chiropractor." And what happened? I just heard this guy Dave Major, and I'm like, that's just so overwhelming. And Dan is blessing a lot of people's lives, and I'm like, you know what, people, it's not that tough. Your community needs you to step up and step out. Okay,
Yep.
show up and blow it up, baby. That's all you got to do. But now the key is, I don't like the saying 50% of success is just showing up. No, the key to, oh no, I think the key they say is just showing up. No, it's showing up being prepared. We
Right.
talked about the beginning. Show up, being prepared, ready to give your all, have your head in the game and your game face on. And that's why I was successful in college and sports. And if my knee didn't blow out, but I'm thankful my knee blew out because I never might have ever been the greatest profession of all, and that's the chiropractic profession. So we are saving life. So remember that you are saving life. So get your head in the game, your game face on, and with your family personally and professionally. Okay.
What you were just talking about, last thing I'll say, because it resonates with something. I was talking about the American Indian legend around what's called the white buffalo. And the white buffalo is a sacred animal. And one of the things that they said about the white buffalo and abundance was that it was a sign of um, right action putting with right prayer. You have to have right action with right prayer. You can have great action with the wrong prayer or intentions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And right intentions prayer with the wrong action or no action, you've got to put them together. So that's really to reflect on what you just shared. So
Oh,
again,
thank you.
Dave, thank you so much. And hey, everybody, check out DaveMajorGameface.com. And Dave, we are looking forward, and we're so grateful to help you're going to give us in our office. And I cannot recommend enough. Again, anytime you spend with Dave Major is time well spent.
Oh, thank you. We got to end though the 1, 2, 3 game face.
Oh,
Ready?
okay, here we go. Ready?
1, 1, 2, 3 game face. There
Game
you
face.
go.
There we
All
go.
right. Take care.
All
Love you,
right.
brother. Look forward to seeing you soon.
See you soon.